This might sound arrogant, and if it is, we're Michigan.
I'm telling them it's not over. It's just starting. It's not over. It'll never be over here.
And welcome back to Bitter Rivals with Ted and Tom. Just a quick congratulations, Birmingham Brother Rice, 7th state championship win since the playoffs began, 8th overall state championships. I got to throw that in because 1974 was our year when we won the very first so-called mythical state championship. But Tom, I want to talk about the Big Ten championship coming up this week. I got a major bone to pick with Wisconsin's coach, Bret Bielema. This is the biggest jerk in the Big Ten, and let me count the ways. First, his comment last year when Michigan State put it to him, their only blemish leading into the bowl games at Spartan Stadium. So his revisionist history was, we stubbed our toe. No, you got your ass kicked, okay? Secondly, his comment leading up to the game this year after the Michigan game and all the blowback about the penalties Michigan State had in the Michigan game, they asked Bielema about the upcoming Michigan State game, and he said, well, we trained our scout team to talk trash to us and really throw punches so we could get used to the game coming up. By the way, Brett, 0 penalties in that game against Wisconsin. Other thing, he had a comment when he had all the major coverage about the Penn State situation and things going on in Ohio State. And his take on that whole thing in Twitter was, it's nice to be a Badger fan. Classy. And then finally, in their game against Penn State for the leaders champion, he leaves his starters in the entire game. It's a blowout. It's 45-7 in the third quarter. Russell Wilson's in there the entire game. Monty Ball's in there for the entire game. This jerk has been running it up on people ever since he got there, pandering to the polls, and he should be accountable for that, and he's not.
Well, I agree totally because that extremely upset me. I want these kids healthy for the Michigan State game. Wilson, okay? Get his butt out of there. You got to get ready for Indy. No, but in all kidding aside, Ted, I think it's ridiculous. Coaches running up the score. Reminds me of 1978. Michigan State beat Michigan 24-15 on that Darryl Rogers team, and then when Eddie Smith, Kirk Gibson, Mark Bramer, Eugene Bird. They're just lighting everybody up. They're scoring 60 points, and Darryl Rogers got his starters in there right down the stretch of the game. The same doggone thing. That wasn't fair, and this isn't fair either with Wisconsin. I think it's ridiculous. It doesn't serve any purpose.
Wow, we're going back, 32 years?
Well, it sticks out in my
mind. Yeah.
It still bothers me.
As your friend Woody would say, Tom, you're grasping at straws.
Yeah, I was. Well,
there's one other issue I want to bring up about Bret Bielema, and it's a total disregard for his athletes. And I want to go back to the Michigan State-Wisconsin game. In the second quarter, Monty Bell got his bell rung. It was clear he was out on his feet if you look at the replays. So they interview him at halftime, and they asked Bielema, are you going to have ball back for the second half? And his response was, yeah, well, we talked to him, and he says he's good to go. Well, that's not how you treat concussions. If you look and contrast that with Mark D'Antonio, and we've had a couple of kids that have had concussions this year during the season, Caper would be one and a couple others, they've been held out 1 or 2 games after that concussion. The big thing about concussions, the thing you have to worry about the most, it's not that first concussion, but it's the second one that comes and how quickly it comes after the first concussion. You're talking about major brain damage potential for that. And this guy's not talking to his doctors. He's talking to the player about, is he good to go? Well, Tom, you know, because you had some experience in high school with Cody, a player just wants to be on the field, and they'll tell their coach anything. And that's the last person that you take advice from in something as serious as head concussion.
Well, actually, in the Michigan High School Athletic Association, you've probably seen some commercials on there talking about that old thing about, oh, he just got his bell rung. when you got your bell rung, that's probably some form of concussion.
Absolutely.
So you got to take it seriously. So I agree with that. And you know, whether he's, you know, I'm sure he's all right now as far as recovered from that injury from the first state game. But, you know, it's always a flag, and it's like miles on a car.
He was playing the very next game. I mean,
Right, that's
he
not-
played the second half. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
I tend to, a rarity here, agree with you, okay, going into that game. But it's going to be a great game regardless. I think it's going to be one of those games, you know, Fox Sports is doing it, which is a little weird. I'm not used to that aspect of
You
it.
get the is the Megatron going to be there?
I guess. I don't know, but it should be fun. In all seriousness, I wish Michigan was there. It's Michigan State. They had the better season. They beat Michigan head-to-head. They deserve to be there. And now let's see what the Badgers do with them in a payback. It's tough to beat a team twice in the same year. Lansing Catholic Central ran into that with Flint Powers Catholic in high school football. You can't. It's hard to beat. That'll be a big challenge for Sparty, and I'm hoping the Badgers come out on top.
What's your prediction?
I think Wisconsin's going to win. It's not going to be a blowout as much as I'd like it to be. I'm thinking Wisconsin will win something in the neighborhood of 24-20 Badgers.
And I'm looking at a Michigan State win, obviously, but I think it's also going to be a close game, and I'm looking at 21-17. Michigan State
So
over
4-point
Wisconsin.
outcome switched around. We're going to break all that down next week. As we look into the bowl season, will it be BCS for the Wolverines? Will it be Rose Bowl for the Spartans? We'll find out. Tune in next week. Bitter Rivals with Ted and Tom. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.
LSU rivalry has gone. It's gone, well, frankly, to the billboards. Check out what we found out last night. Near the Frandor Shopping Center in East Lansing, a digital billboard ripping Michigan just every way you can, minutes after the game. It's sponsored by Bitter Rivals, who started a website called MichiganIsOurLittleSister.com. There are 8 different images, and they will be up all week in Frandor and one on I-96. Bitter Rivals paid a few $1,000s for those, and you can get all sorts of mementos if you go there. If you're really into the little sister thing and you really want to rub it into your Michigan fan,
All right.
they got it covered.
Well,